Hi there, it's Maria from SEI Crafts. We are a small craft company and we manufacture tie-dye. So in this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips and tricks for using our tie-dye. Alright, tip number 1, follow the directions. Each package of tie-dye has directions on it, and the kits also come with this nice little idea book that shows different methods of using tie-dye. And this is specific to our brand. Our dye is different because it's pre-mixed and it's water-based, so the directions are a little different than other kinds of tie-dye. Shake well for consistent color. Some of the dye might settle to the bottom of your bottle, so you want to make sure to shake every time you use it. Tip number 3, protect your workspace. So I love to just use garbage bags for mine, but if you have other kinds of plastic that can help protect your surface, that works great. I also like to wear an apron so I don't get anything on my clothing. Tip number 4 is experiment on something else. So don't use the brand new shirt you just bought to try out different techniques and learn how to use our dye. Try it out on some scraps and figure out the way that you want to do it on your actual product. Gloves are not required with our dye. There's no mixing strange chemicals around like soda ash or anything that would irritate your skin. It's water-based and non-toxic. However, I personally do like to use gloves because I've noticed with the darker colors, sometimes I get it under my fingernails and I don't like that. But the lighter colors wash out great off your hands with just soap and water. When you're tie-dyeing, you're going to scrunch things, tie things, and get it all kind of crinkled up, and that's what's going to create the cool look for your tie-dye. But this also makes it so that the dye doesn't come in contact with all the surfaces. If you want a lot of white space, this can be a good thing, but usually you're going to want to kind of open up some of those folds a little bit and spray into the folds as well. Tip number 7 is probably the most important because this is different with our dye. A lot of other companies, you rinse the dye out immediately after you spray your design. With our dye, you actually need to let it air dry in order for the dye to become permanent. So let it air dry completely and then heat set it with an iron, and that's how you're going to make the dye permanent and not wash out. We get asked a lot of times, how many shirts can you create with our tie-dye? And this is such a hard question to answer because it depends. Are you doing a onesie or an XX large hoodie? And there's different methods too. Are you stenciling or are you covering almost the whole surface with dye? Here's an example. I soaked this women's large shirt in water and wrung it out, and I'm going to spray it kind of just a traditional tie-dye method that most people might do. And then you can see how much dye is left in this bottle. First, the bottle's full before I start, and this is how much dye I'm left with now. Tip number 9 is clean the nozzles. Make sure to rinse them out really well after you use them so that it doesn't dry in the nozzle and clog the nozzles for future use. Quick side note, you can actually attach different types of nozzles to the end of this spray bottle, so if you don't want to spray it on, you can actually just pour it on using a different kind of nozzle. Some other companies, you have a short period of time that you can use the dye once you've mixed it, but with our dye, since it's pre-mixed, it has a longer shelf life. I think we technically say 3 months to a year, something like that, but I have used the same dye for years and years and had no problems with it. I hope these tips are helpful for you, and we can't wait to see what you create using our tie-dye.